Cyber attacks are growing, security budgets are increasing, but the one thing that isn't, clarity in the boardroom. Cyber risk is a business risk, yet many leaders still can't grab its true impact in measurable terms. In this episode, we are learning what's the gap and what changes needs to be done. Joining us today is Sandip Wadje from BNP Paribas. He has worked closely with board members and executives and will show us a clear view understanding why cyber risk is still misinterpreted in the top and how leaders can make these conversations more effective. Thank you so much for joining, Sandip. From your perspective, what's the main reason boards still struggle to understand cyber risk in business terms?
So thank you for giving me opportunity to speak to you today. I work for BNP Paribas based in London. My focus is on emerging technology risks. So I look into cloud, AI, digital assets and intelligence globally. I've been with the bank for 8.5 years and it has been a very exciting opportunity to learn a lot in terms of dealing with executive stakeholders. I think the first thing to understand is when you're dealing with board level stakeholders, they're managing the financial risk. So for cyber risk for them is a non-financial risk. At least that's what they think, because cyber is now becoming a material financial risk, because we can see the disruption, right? What happened with JLR, where the factory was almost shut down for 1 month, and it's not a non-financial risk anymore. It's becoming a financial risk. So I think the gap has been to essentially make executives realize that cyber is becoming a material financial risk and it can actually have impact on your balance sheet. And I think that is something where probably from an education and awareness perspective, more needs to be done. And it's a continuing, I would say, process. But this is what something probably has not been done in the industry, because for a lot of people, cyber is just one part of their technology operations. And now I think the boards are kind of getting that realization that it has a significant impact on their finances.
Okay. So in a highly regulated industry like banking, why is it still so hard to convince board about emerging tech risk like AI, cloud, and digital assets?
So there are a combination of things, and I talk a lot about this. It's the nature of the technology itself, because what we use today on a day-to-day basis is largely the evolution of internet, e-commerce, and how we conduct business. And a lot of this, when it was developed in the early days in 1990s, 2000, by definition or inherently, it was not secure. And what we are dealing with now in information technology, and we are probably the only industry, and I've said this publicly, which is deploying insecure products, and it has become some sort of a precedent that we are not able to set it back, saying, hey, you know what, we are not going to roll out insecure product, and we have to go and sit down with business and say, hey, give us some time so that we can build a system that is properly secure. And it's tough, right? And what happens then is, when you have a new exciting technology, business always wants to be at the forefront. They want to win new customers. They want to deliver the best customer experience. So there is this continuous battle between business and technology, where they have customer acquisition, customer experience, of course, making money on their minds. And they do not then understand how tough it is to secure all this system and get it in front of the customers. So the reason there is that gap, because I think you really need to kind of be in a position to explain that ground realities are shifting fast. AI and a lot of other things are making the scale of the attacks, the scale of customer impact much bigger. And what you really need to do is have some sort of a ways to explain it to executives that yes, we want to empower you by giving you the technology, but at the end of the day, you still need to deploy in a secure way, so that you're almost like not out of business. But that's a big delta, and I think the real reason is business has not been exposed to the underlying artifacts of how complex it can be to secure this technology.
Okay. And what's the misconception board members have that leaders can fix immediately?
I talked about it at an event yesterday. It's not misconception. It is your regional cultural background and your ability to interpret that information to take decisions. Executives in the Middle East, they take decisions differently. Executives in the US, they take decisions differently. So I would not say this is a misconception. I would say this is essentially for a technology executive or a cyber or risk executive to understand the audience they are dealing with. And if you're dealing with someone in the Middle East or India or APAC or US, the way they look at information to take decisions is different. And that cultural legacy, understanding probably the background of the individual you're dealing with, and to explain them that they need to take certain decisions is the key. So I think a lot of technology or risk executives make a mistake, particularly just like taking a lot of technical stuff in front of executives rather than to explain them in a non-technical terms why they need to take certain decisions. So I would say this is some sort of a decision intelligence gap, because you are not understanding your audience and help them take those decisions.
Okay. And if you had to simplify cyber risk into one message for the board members to understand even more, what would that be?
I think it would be more around, given what we are dealing with from a cybersecurity risk perspective, what we have is attack surface that is growing. What we have is ability of threat actors to leverage AI and launch campaigns at scale, which means my one message would be to you need to have ability to recalibrate and respond at scale, because you can't live in yesterday's era, pre-Gen AI era. You need to really prepare and saying, hey, you know what, I don't know what I'm dealing with, and I don't know what I'm going to get hit with. So I really want to have ability to recalibrate and respond to whatever that's going to come through.
Okay. So Sandip, thank you so much for your insight.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.